Well, what's your preference? You want to stand here? Guys, can we bring up another chair, please? Sure. Thanks. Whatever you like. You're good? Okay, actually, sorry. Scratch that. I think, yes, good, yeah. Okay, what I meant to say is, here we go. Our awesome panel. Go for it, guys. Pleasure.
All right, thanks so much. Good morning. Everybody got their coffee? Thanks for the response. All right, so this morning we're going to dig into a couple really interesting topics that we've had a lot of questions on since we gave our presentation yesterday. So we're going to be focusing on the whole idea of proof of renewable. Exactly what is it? How does it work? We're going to be talking about something very unique called NFT bonds, which is a new use of NFTs in this space. But to kick us off in this, we have our special guest from the Bay Area, Dr. Jamie Cantone, who's coming up here. Dr. Jamie, welcome.
Everybody.
All right, you can hear us.
Hello, Dubai.
Welcome. We're glad you're able to join, and just thought you could, as a global futurist in the blockchain space, can you kick us off with this whole concept of where do you see? I want you to take us to the future and tell us where you see the space heading. Where is crypto going, especially as it relates to this whole idea of renewables?
Well, I think this is a historic meeting in Dubai. I'm very pleased. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited because really we're at the edge of the new future for crypto. I think we're headed into a moment here that is more exciting than the value, the monetary value of crypto, but more important about the utility value and the value of crypto to be a accelerator, what I call the crypto prosperity dividend for the planet. I mean, the ability to be able to enhance the prosperity of not just one nation, not just one community, not just one city, but worldwide. We have an opportunity to create, as Nakamoto talked about in his or her paper, a peer-to-peer decentralized economic system that would really invigorate a prosperous global economy. So on the other side of globalization, I really believe that there's room now for purposeful crypto and the DeFi economy. And what I mean by that is the future of crypto really is going to be about putting the tools, the platforms, and the Web 3.0 solutions into people's hands, whether they're in a village in Africa or they're a city in Milan or Dubai, to be able to communicate, collaborate, and create prosperous wealth opportunities to enhance the quality of life of people throughout the world. And I think that DeFi, this DeFi platform, and certainly distributed autonomous organizations, I mean, we're talking about the birth of not just the next evolution of the internet, but we're talking about an empowering platform, particularly to address the challenges of a sustainable planet. And it's interesting, but up until this point, there really hasn't been this fusion of crypto solutions, whether they're NFTs or certainly DeFi, but really crypto. This is the moment for crypto and sustainable energy to be able to merge in a way that would bring new, cost-effective and innovative social empowerment solutions to raise this crypto dividend and give it back and pay it back around the world. So I think we're at an inflection point for the first time ever where we can really use crypto in the right ways globally to be able to generate, mine, transact, collaborate, and I think light up the future for all the peoples on the planet and give us, help us both decarbonize the economy, but also create more jobs and more income-produced DeFi, income-producing prosperity economics. I feel like this is we're at the edge of a new economic model. So that's a little bit of what I think.
Gentlemen? Your response to that?
I love it. I think like when I'm hearing Dr. Canton talking about a new shift and a new paradigm that we are about to see, it always strikes me kind of like I come from this part of the world, and the greetings that we always have is literally translated as peace. But when you think about why we don't have world peace, why we don't have all of that stuff, it really boils down to the prosperity. Peace does not happen overnight because it is. Peace happens because we work hard to create opportunities for people around the globe so that they can be included, not excluded from the economy, from ways to provide for their families, for ways to have a brighter future. Unfortunately, many of the solutions that are out there are always focused on the now and forget about everything else. So, and you can not really blame people for kind of like trying to do the best what they can see. But I think as a community, as a global community, we have an opportunity to really look at changing it for all of us. To me, blockchain is a way by which you can not only think about it being a network, but it represents assets. Those assets on the system are not monetary only, but they can be extended to things that you own, like the previous panel talked about NFTs, or energy. So think about energy as an asset. And now think about blockchain instead of it being a network burning energy for just creating value into a network of energy that has value built in, that unlocks our future, that achieves peace and prosperity across the globe. That's what I would be most interested in. That's what gets me up every day.
Yeah, you can clap. It's all right. So, Rob, on the heels of what Dr. Adel is saying, so this has been your passion, as you said yesterday, for many years, even as a kid. And so, how do you see like this whole energy component of renewable energy? What are the factors leading to its success in the blockchain and mass adoption?
Well, one of the things I want to touch on, what Dr. Adel has pointed out, I think is the key here. You had actually mentioned it at the beginning of your speech yesterday, and it's the whole point of energy in terms of sustainability and peace in terms of sustainability. And what is it that we're trying to achieve here, right? What is it that drew me to, renewable energy in the first place? It's a sustainable energy source. It's something that makes sense for our future. And that's what drives me. So what drove, I'm in the renewable business, I'm in the battery technology business. What drew me to the Robbie protocol was the fact that there is a greater mission here. There is a greater, this is not just a technology. There's something bigger at play here. The technology is fantastic and it has been available to us, but how are we using it? So in terms of, using crypto, DeFi, blockchain, this mission that we're on right now is to use this technology, for example, in developing nations. Developing nations have an issue with two things. First, the economic inequality, and second, their ability to even have energy, let alone sustainable energy. So what is drawing me to this project the most is that with one technology, we are now enabling developing countries to participate in the global economy by having them have an opportunity to create or earn income, while at the very same time generate renewable energy, giving them that freedom or that independence to have energy and not be reliant on the grid, to participate in the economy and not be reliant on governments and banking systems. That's what inspires me the most about this project. And that's how I feel that the energy and the technology fits into what we're doing.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, so I want to go there here in a minute to ask the question of, if I'm in one of those developing countries, how do I benefit from this? But I think to set the stage, and Dr. Jamie, you can pitch in anytime, even though you're virtual. I think we need to talk about the whole idea of proof of renewable. So how exactly does it work? I got a lot of questions about this yesterday. This is a very new and innovative way to look at a proof concept. So Dr. Adel, maybe you could jump in and tell us, how does proof of renewable work? I know you explained it in the diagrams yesterday, but maybe you could help dig into the details a little bit more about, from a technology standpoint, how does it work? Why is it so important? And how do people benefit from it?
That's a quintessential question to what we are trying to do here. So all great ideas start from a very simple concept, even Bitcoin, even blockchain. So when you think about how blockchain was possible, like pre the first implementations of it, when you boil down, what does really blockchain mean? It means exactly how it is named, a chain of blocks. Okay, well, you can have a few blocks randomly set up there. What links them together? The hash of the first block. So you take the first block, you hash it, you create one immutable code representing it, and then you include that in the next block. And by doing so, now that hash representing the first one is part of the second. If you hash that second block and take that, put it into the next one, now you've linked all of those. If you change one letter in the first block, all subsequent blocks are busted. The simple seemingly idea is the means by which all blockchain projects that you see there, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all of those are built on the same fundamental principle here. For the proof of renewable, what we have looked at is, instead of trying to prove that you actually did a certain amount of calculations and arrived at the correct block in there, or you've staked and can prove that you have a certain amount of locked value in there, we need to think about it through the lens of energy. If you are thinking through it about that, then the first step is to verify and validate that your energy is actually renewable. What does that mean? It means that it has been produced renewably and consumed. Why do we have to have both sides of the equation? Because if you just hook up a solar panel in the middle of the desert, it will produce renewable energy. It is producing renewable energy. The sun is doing renewable energy, but it's not useful. It does not lead to anything. That energy must not only be harnessed and stored, it must be harnessed, stored, and used. So by compiling both of them, the production and the use of it, the consumption together, then adding a little bit of flavor of cryptography, meaning the device has a code on it. Think of it as a MAC address or a unique identifier like your phone number that proves that this was produced at this device and also was consumed from this device. Now you've put the two pieces together, allowing you to prove beyond a doubt that yes, I have produced the energy and I have consumed that energy in there. That certifies, it turns it from simple concept into now an asset. And once you've created that asset, now you can move to other things like how do you stake it? How do you get rewarded for doing so? Without that piece in there, the system wouldn't work. That's what proof of renewable is all about. It's combining the two sides of the equation together so that we can have for the very first time energy as an asset.
Okay, now, and also in the component of that, there is this reward system, this mining pool. So maybe Rob, why don't we start with you? I know this is Adel's expertise because he'll jump in, but just from your perspective with Ionix and looking at how this is going to function in your equipment. There's also a unique concept here that keeps the idea of the protocol moving forward, but also provides a benefit where others can continue to produce renewable energy like yourself. Could you give us a little insight into that? And then Adel will give us the details.
Yeah, I'll definitely leave the technical aspects to Dr. Adel. But from a device perspective, you know, what we've done, and we've always been creating these energy storage systems, they call it, backup battery systems. And for renewable energy to work, for renewable energy to be dependable, you need to store it so it's there and readily available on demand. Now, we already create those systems, but the wonderful thing of being involved with the Robbie protocol is by adding this technology, by adding cryptography to this and blockchain to this, what you're able to do is add incentivization and rewards. So in other words, there already is, a great reason for having renewable energy and backup storage, right? A, you're creating renewable energy, which is, you got all the benefits there. And B, you're storing it so it's readily available. By adding this technology now, A, you're able to introduce earning potential for developing countries that weren't able to have that in the first place. And two, you're now able to you can confirm the generation and the consumption, which is required for the protocol. So it literally is, like a match made in heaven for these two technologies to come together. And it's been a pleasure to be part of it.
Yeah, so Adel, describe this a little more, because some of the questions I know people are out there asking, okay, I want to mine the protocol, right? I want to mine it. So what does that look like? And then Jamie, I'd like you to jump in after that and talk a little bit about like what kind of an impact does that make in the life of people? Because I know you've traveled all over the world. If they are in a rural village in Africa, for example, some developing country, and they're mining it, like how does that work for them? But if I'm out there and I say, listen, I want to mine the protocol, I'm interested in this, tell us how that would work.
Perfect. So in order for you to mine the protocol, first, let's get some technicalities out of the way. So everything has specifications for it. You have to have compliance with certain specs. Those are set up by the Renewable Energy Alliance, the REA. So then you have to comply with those to begin with. That means either you have a device that is compliant with those specifications and they are built into the device itself. Most likely it is within the storage unit, because if you think through it, it's the stage in the middle. It's between the production and the consumption. And that's what I like about Rob's involvement here, is that those devices can be produced and makes life so much simpler. And in a future that I foresee that will be built in every and each device that exists out there. Now, beyond that, it's kind of similar to what the internet was. Remember, guys, that weird device that you would go and buy and makes those clinky noises for you to get on the internet back 20 years? Those are older here. That's called a modem, right? So it's the exact same thing that we are going to do. We're going to create a device that allows existing legacy system to benefit from the exact same protocol, because after all, this is an inclusion movement. It's not an exclusion. We don't want to exclude anybody. We want to open it up and make sure that people can retrofit their current systems with this if they can cryptographically prove that they have complied with the POR. So in short, you either get a device that is compliant from the get-go, or you get the add-on piece that allows you to prove that and communicate with the network. Both of them have built-in systems to communicate with the internet, wireless or Wi-Fi, allowing you to hook up into the mining protocol at large.
Okay, so just to be clear, when you say an add-on device, because I think a lot of us think of mining as an external device, right? I go buy this miner and it mines this protocol. Are you saying that an add-on is an external device? Or what exactly is an add-on?
That's a perfect question. So remember that what we are mining here, in order to mine, you have to produce and consume renewable energy, right? So unlike other protocols where you are simply getting a device for the sole purpose of mining, like an ASIC or adding GPUs on a PC rig, mining rig and stuff like that, where your end result is just doing that wasteful work. In our case, you have to have that energy being produced. And that's why when you get an add-on device to put on the network, that allows you to plug in your current existing infrastructure, or buy one that already exists with the capability to do that. In both cases, you are producing, you have to produce and consume renewable energy in order for it to work, because a device by itself does absolutely nothing. It has to be hooked to the renewable production and consumption in order for it to function and qualify you to participate into the mining pool.
Gotcha. Okay. So Jamie, before you jump in, I think since you're talking in this direction, Dr. Adel, Rob, now give us some practicality here. Okay. So you are producing the first device that is going to have this technology in it, this proof of renewable technology to be able to mine the protocol. So tell us a little bit more about this smart miner. You unveiled it yesterday. I know that there's a number of different products that are going to contain this software. So help us with some real world understanding of what this looks like. And if I'm out there and I want to purchase one of your smart miners, and how does that process work? And then what does it look like to be able to mine? And then what are the future products of Ionix? How do you see this growing in the market? And give us this idea of where you see the evolution of it going.
Absolutely. So, I'll keep it very, very simple because it's not complex at all. An energy storage system is basically a backup battery source. So what we're talking about here is different sizes of backup battery systems. So for your home, you need a certain size. For your office or a parkade, obviously you need a bigger size. For a charging station, getting bigger. And for a large renewable energy operation, this has to be measured in megawatts, you need it even bigger. We make those already. And again, these are not overly complicated systems. And of course, we're not the only company that does it. We utilize a patented technology in the battery management system, which is like the brain of the battery. That is what we believe gives us an edge and probably the reason why we're working with the Robbie protocol. And ultimately what we're trying to do here is pioneer this proof of renewable system, but it's not going to be exclusivity. At the end of the day, one of the pages that we take out of Elon Musk's book is Tesla was trying to pioneer a really cool electric vehicle, but they didn't want to be the only company in the world selling electric vehicles. So what they wanted to do here was pioneer and make the best units to start. But the way that the world benefits from this is when all automotive manufacturers make electric vehicles. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're working with the Robbie protocol, with Dr. Adel, with the great team, with the REA. And what we're trying to do is pioneer that first technology, use it in our entire lineup of products. And I hope that this is something that all ESS companies adopt so that everyone, all households, all offices are mining this protocol, and we're adding this benefit to make it sustainable for the world.
It's great. It's really great. I love that vision. So Dr. Jamie, with what Dr. Adel and Rob just described, like if you're in one of these rural places and you are able to get a smart miner, a smaller unit that Rob's talking about that is being unveiled, like what does that do to change your family, your community? How do you kind of technology really impact? Because the vision is a renewable future for all that's sustainable. So in your experience, like how do you see this technology really being part of the answers to these very difficult problems that we've had throughout the course of history? And how does it change a real person's life?
Me, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So thank you for the question. I think first off, my hope is that it will create a marketplace, a local, regional, and even global marketplace for sustainable energy that is at here. So that means if I'm mining vis-a-vis the equipment that of sustainable energy, and I'm able to both trade that, use that, I'm able to deposit it, I'm able to earn against it from a DeFi point of view. All of a sudden, I've got access to a peer-to-peer, a group-to-group, a village-to-village, a region, if not around the world, where I may be able to go ahead and monetize that energy and use it for things above and beyond what we could even consider energy for. It's creating a marketplace, a peer-to-peer, a group-to-group marketplace. Imagine a collaboration of villages, of towns, of cities, of communities that are able to pool their DeFi generated energy and be able to then trade that with other communities and engage in a cross-chain protocol of commerce and even a form of even mobile virtual banking. So it opens up opportunities for this notion of a DeFi economy that's based on the mining, the trading, the exchange of energy as a form of crypto in this new protocol that we're proposing as such. So it's a dynamic, kinetic marketplace that could send somebody's child to college, could create a new business, feed a community, that could enable a creator to be able to make the next innovation. And innovation is critically important because we're talking about an innovative marketplace that is elastic and is organic, but also new innovations might come from this that you can layer when you've got access to a sustainable energy with a network effect, pooled with others. So I'm very excited about what the possibilities may be for this purposeful crypto and DeFi economy.
Yeah, it's a great vision. That's the vision of the protocol. So, Adel, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I want to kind of also like mention one important thing, because a lot of blockchain projects are kind of like inward looking, like, hey, we will create this. And a lot of the solutions that are impact solution are basically focused, hey, we'll dump more clothes at the door of like those villages or stuff like that. And then they will be better. They won't. So we want to create a solution that is global. What does that mean? Beside the production and consumption of energy, and you as someone engaged in those can achieve extra income for you and for your family. What about the role of the 99.9% other people around the globe that will never add a solar panel or anything? What can you do? Change starts with the person in the mirror that you are looking at, meaning that instead, when you go and purchase something with fiat, what did that do? Nothing. It gave you what you wanted. That's it. That's the end of the transaction. If you go and purchase it with a cryptocurrency, what happens? You've burned a bunch of energy and nothing else happens. But imagine a world now when you are transacting on the Rabi protocol, and with every transaction, a contribution from that goes to incentivize energy production, renewable energy production and consumption, the two together, meaning that your cup of coffee, you're going to charge your phone, your plane ride, your car, everything that you are doing in your life every day is creating that incentive by the people for the planet, so that we all can participate, so that we all can do that, so that every and each day, more and more incentives are put there, more and more people through free market dynamics are getting in and participating more in it. That's what's exciting. That's the grand vision of the system.
Right. Okay, we just have a few more minutes, so closing comments from Rob. But Adel, this unique opportunity for people to become owners of the Rabi protocol, because that's the idea, is that everyone becomes an owner. But the mechanism to do that is a unique way called an NFT bond. Adel, can you describe what that looks like? If someone were to get an NFT bond, what exactly is it and how does it function?
So it's basically turning the investment model upside down, just like what's happening on the picture behind me here. In traditional ways that you are trying to invest or support a project, you are not aligning your interests with the project. You are basically trying to get an immediate benefit out of it that does not really benefit the project or the long-term vision. It's basically something that I call like just rival. But this is not something that's going to be a fad overnight. This is something that we want to bootstrap it the right way. So instead of issuing a token or starting with that from day one, we want to issue NFT bonds. An NFT bond is basically a unique piece of digital art that is uniquely designed. None of them are equivalent. Absolutely. Each one has a city representation on it. That makes it a true NFT. There is no two alike. And when you get an NFT bond in there, most of the projects, there are no ways for you to benefit from your investment until the project really realizes its potential out there. So what do? You either dump it on the market or you are sitting there waiting for it forever. But because you are participating in the form of an NFT, that NFT has a secondary market for you. So you could use that there much easier on him. Then the other thing that why it's called a bond is just like traditional bonds in the market. You participate by purchasing one of those NFTs, and the NFT bonds issues your coupons for you so that you can redeem those later down the road. And that does two things for you. One, it basically assures your participation for a longer period in the project, in the protocol that is trying to be generated, allows the necessary time to roll out the hardware required to get the people producing the energy in the system and mining that. Because remember, it's not about making money immediately, it's about making energy immediately. That's what we are trying to do. And then the other part of that is that if you're holding that bond and you decide to trade it or send it to somebody else, that someone else will benefit automatically out of those coupons that are emitted from the bond. That's another revolutionary thing there, because you don't have to buy one and keep it forever there, but you could participate with other investors, co-invest in it, and then send it around for you to receive those bonds. Totally innovative.
That's fascinating. Okay, wrapping it up, Rob, just your final thoughts on how you see the Robbie protocol being one of the most impacting protocols in the space.
Well, certainly one of the things that I believe will have the most immediate impact and why we're focusing on the smart miner being a more smaller, compact miner is that I believe with the Robbie protocol, it's very well thought out across all areas of the chain. So, you have Dr. Adel explaining the NFT, very, very innovative, and it basically is only targeting long-term holders to come in. So, this isn't a short-term, how do I profit off of crypto today or tomorrow? Oh, this renewable is a nice hook. This is long-term players with a long-term vision, looking to make a long-term sustainable impact. That, I believe, sets it aside right out of the gate. I believe that the proof of renewable technology, I truly believe, is going to be one of the most disruptive things in the crypto industry. I believe once people see how something just so simple yet elegant but impactful proof of renewable will be, I believe that this will be the chain that is used to mine all crypto. And of course, the Robbie protocol has this incentivization with each transaction. So as you are using crypto as a means, as a means of finance, this is an additional benefit. Everybody wants to do something that makes them feel good about what they're doing. If you trade an alternative, crypto that doesn't have this benefit, you got to ask yourself the question, like, why do it? If you're going to be trading a crypto for the reasons of cryptocurrency, which is a lot of very, very positive ones, why not do it with a cryptocurrency that creates such a positive impact, that has such an absolute incentivization to create something that we all need more of, which is renewable energy? I believe that'll have a very strong impact as well. So by combining all these factors together, the proof of renewable protocol, the incentivization, the long-term focus of the structure, and the sustainable impact that it will have on areas that need sustainable development. Like you said earlier, you don't solve problems by just throwing some money at it or throwing some charity at it and hoping that it'll solve itself. You solve it by empowering people to help themselves. And the most beautiful thing about the Robbie protocol is it is a technology that does exactly that.
It's great. Very inspiring. Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for your time, everyone. We appreciate it.
Good job. Thank you so much. And coming up next,